Talks. We have a few callers with us on the line. So first up, it's Gaurav, who has called in from Kolhapur, and he wants to talk about Suzlon. Hi, Gaurav.
Hi, hi, ma'am.
Hi.
Yes, I have bought Suzlon for 29.5.
Okay.
500 shares. Just the past 2 months or 1.5 back. So it's trading on low time. I think it's about 20 now. So what should I do for that?
Okay, and are you in need of funds right now, or if you're asked to hold on, I mean, would that be possible for you?
Yes, it's no matter for me to hold on it.
Okay.
Also, I have bought Bank of Baroda.
Okay.
500 at 165.
Okay, fine. Bank of Baroda at 165, you said?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Nooresh, he has two stocks, Suzlon as well as Bank of Baroda. Now, in the last few days that we've seen a lot of these highly leveraged companies getting punished, Suzlon being amongst them. But, you know, they have a nice, powerful person backing them. Today itself, they've announced some new order wins. Would it be advisable for a retail investor to remain invested, and for how long? And secondly, he's bought Bank of Baroda at 165. So what would be your take on that?
So if we look at Suzlon, the last breakout came around 16 to 18 levels. So now the stock has already corrected from 30s to 20, 21. So I would consider a hold at current levels, or even look at a speculative addition at 18 with a medium to longer term view, and bet on the new people, those who have come into the company. Secondly, on Bank of Baroda, I believe it's a long-term bottoming out process on technicals, where we look at 140 to 160 as a consolidation zone, which was a price for the last few years as a support zone. So if the investor has patience and can hold on for 1 to 2 years, Bank of Baroda is also a hold at current levels and add around 140, 145.
Okay, well, let's get to a personal finance query now. We have Hemant, who writes to us from Nagpur, and he wants to buy a term plan for his family. He says that he already has invested in LIC life cover term plan with a total sum assured of 10 lakh rupees, and he wants to know about other term plans. Feroze?
Yes, I think term plan, the most important thing when you buy a term plan is just the premium, because you're not expecting anything out of it in terms of returns. So if you ask me which is the best term plan in terms of competitiveness, because it's a commoditized product, I would say HDFC Click to Protect is going to be the most inexpensive, with coupled with the best settlement ratios, which is the most important criteria for a term plan. If the claimant actually comes for a claim, he should not be denied it. So that's close to about 95 to 97% in case of HDFC life insurance. So I think HDFC Click to Protect is the most competitive.
All right. Up next, Viresh has called in from Karnataka. Hi, Viresh. What's your question?
Hello.
Hi.
My query is about ITC.
Okay.
I want to buy ITC for the period of holding, say, 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
I am following it. It is falling right from 400 to now it has come to 300. I want to know, is it the right time to buy, or I'll have to hold till, is it possible to see some more lower level?
Okay, so basically there's been, some news flow around ITC, which is that Maharashtra is looking to ban the sale of loose cigarettes, which is why the stock has taken a bit of a hit. But let me toss it over to Nooresh, our expert. Nooresh, we've seen, just yesterday, very high delivery-based selling in ITC. Today the stock is down about 1%. Would it be the right time for someone to look at a fresh buy into the stock?
So if you look at ITC, the trend has been totally taken off in the last few months, and even after making a low around 300, 310, the stock did not bounce enough and did not sustain. So I believe the next lower side zones would be closer to 270, 280. And after such a fall with huge volumes, what we generally see is, even if the stocks don't bottom out, they can remain sideways for quite a few months. So if the investor is looking out for a good entry price, what he can do is spread out his buying. Look at partially buying at 300, and if it dips to 270, he can add on more.
Okay, let's get in a quick query on the private banks. We have Arvind, who writes to us from Chandigarh, and he has 100 shares of Axis Bank at 505 rupees, and he wants to know whether to hold or exit. Nooresh, what would you recommend, considering that Axis Bank has been fairly resilient as compared to the other, private and especially public sector banks? But what would you recommend to him?
say in the short term, we expect Axis Bank to stay between a range of 520 to 600. So if the investor can digest that, I would consider a hold at current levels and look to add more at 500, 520 levels. So it's a hold for the long term. In the near term, we don't expect any action for the next few weeks or months.
But what would you maybe advise in terms of public sector banks as opposed to, say, the private ones?
I would say prefer the private ones for the long term, and say in the PSU banks, I would go with the SBI and a Bank of Baroda.
All right, Nooresh, your disclosures?
No holdings in the stocks discussed.
All right, thanks very much, Nooresh and Feroze, for joining in and advising all our viewers this afternoon.